Hello, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, my name is Sinoma J. So Alfred, and I've seen the swacking, I've seen the boss of bosses. Obviously, they are among the very most innocent guys on the face of planet Earth, like the Caesar. I came, I saw, and of course, I conquered. Because the street refused to go to church, I made up my mind, and I'm definitely going to take the church to the street, not only that we may have Christ, but a whole lot of swag. First, let me start by saying compliment of the season. Yes. From time to time, we just keep thanking God, rejoicing for making us see a new month or a new year. It is very important when you appreciate life. Life is one thing that our money cannot buy. It's only God that can give us that. So when we step into any new level in our life, or we step into a new season, we should be grateful to God to say thank you. Yeah, we should try to do that, to say thank you. So I will be the first to say compliment of the season. Now the Holy Ghost have carried us through January to this very month, which is December. So happy new month. All right, before I introduce my guest to you for today, believe me, today is going to be so amazing. Why? Because we are seeing today. That's the most important thing. Because we're seeing today, because you are actually sitting close to your TV set. That was what made today so different. Today so wonderful. All right. So enough of the talking, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to go on a very short break, and of course, bet you, believe you me, when I return, it's definitely going to be a different story. But that will be after the break. Thank you.
Ago, someone told me I should take caution when it comes to love. I did.
It is the first of its kind in the South region. Oh, scratch that. Did I say South region? It is the first of its kind in Nigeria at large. It is the Voice of Christmas with the Boss of All Bosses Choir Award 2021. Do you think your choir has what it takes to win the Voice of Christmas Choir Award? Do you think your choir has the best soloist, the best choir director, the best songwriter, the most committed instrumentalist, or even the highest number of song composers? Then enough of the thinking. It's time for action. Nominate your choir by sending their names to 0706 488 4102 and give them a chance of winning the Voice of Christmas with the Boss of All Bosses Award. Remember, this choir stands a chance of winning 2.5 million naira. Yes, you heard right, 2.5 million naira. So start sending those names now. It is the Voice of Christmas with the Boss of All Bosses Award. It is time to celebrate the choir in our church.
This week we're going to digress a little bit. Let's look at, I'm a tither, and of course I pay my tithe to my church regularly. I do that without any bridge, okay? But yet I still face challenges that I thought paying my tithe can dissolve that. All right, so tell us, if we are in that shoes, what should we do? Should we stop paying the tithe because we're paying the tithe, yes, we're not getting the result? Or what should we do?
Yes, thank you, Mojesu. Yeah. I'm very happy with this question you just asked, because so many persons will tell you, I'm a tither, yeah. I'm a faithful tither, and I've been paying my tithe. Or does it mean that I need to stop paying the tithe to my church and somewhere else? Yeah. Now, thank you, that's what I said. You see, God is the author of peace and not the author of confusion. Okay. So God can't confuse us if He tells us, bring your tithe into my storehouse, that there will be meat. As I said last week, that the pastors are entirely, as the inheritance, authority from God to eat of the tithe. As it's written in Numbers 18:21, Deuteronomy 10:9, as I rightly said. So, now, when you talk about tithing, the person who is paying the tithe is the sower. Okay. The tithe is paying is a seed. Okay. So the book of 2 Corinthians 9 tells you about the seed and the sower. So it goes pari passu. It goes together. The seed and the sower. So you want to pay the tithe. It's your seed. You are the sower. But what is your mindset of paying? Now to let us know that the soil, Christ talked about the parable of the sower in the book of Mark chapter 4. Okay. Now, the sower, it talks about the grounds, the type of soil you plant in. It talks about the wayside. It talks about the stony ground. It talks about the thorny soil or the thorny ground. And it talks about the good ground. Okay. So it is based on this. People will say, okay, do I change church? Is my church a stony ground? Or is it wayside? No, it's not your church.
Okay, so who then?
Yes, I'm coming. Now, the Bible said, the Lord said, the Lord God searched the hearts and the reins of man. The heart is the soil, not the church. And that's why I say, whether you pay your tithe, whether you are a believer or not, you are going to reap the success, the profit of the tithing. So the soil is your heart. So now you see, when you are younger, your parents wake you up to go to the farmland. So sometimes you are happy. You see some of the children, they are the one telling the mother, the father, when are we going to farm? When are we going to farm? They keep asking. So your mother now say, you are going this Saturday, see, you are happy. So if you go by 5, you find that the child wakes up by 4. He's happy to go. Yeah. But there are some that as you wake them, they say, oh, this farm again. Understand? Now, we are looking at the seed and the sower now. All right. So what is your mindset? So for the child who has been willing and eager to go to the farm, is now an opportunity because the child is happy. And he goes. You find that if the father or mother shares a portion of land and say, you farm here, and the others farm, during harvest, you find that that child that has been happy and eager, his own portion where he cropped does better. Did you go to farm? No. Okay. Yes. I'm going to bring a practical example to what we are saying. Yeah. You understand? Ask. So you find out that area, that child that was happy, or like a business, you want to come to your business, and you are happy coming to the business. When you come, you find out that you make more success. The day you are unhappy, you find out that there is a lackadaisical attitude to your coming. So also, you find out that your output for that day has an inch. That's what happens. So it's your heart. So the Bible said, on the wayside. So when you want to pay your tithes, remember the book of 2 Corinthians 9, verse 6 and 7 down to 14. It says that God is a cheerful giver. And God loves those who give cheerfully, not grudgingly. Like the story I just tell now about the farm. Yeah. Not grudgingly. So, and they say, he who sow bountifully shall reap bountifully. He that sows sparingly shall reap sparingly. Not compelled. Are you paying the tithe? Because every member in the church is paying tithe. So you have no choice. Because if you do not pay, it will be as if you are not a dedicated brother or dedicated sister. So if you pay your tithe based on that compulsion, because others are paying, you are not going to get the blessings. There's going to be like the roadside, by the wayside, according to the book of Mark 4. He said, yes, they were happy. They received the word. They were happy. But they were not careful on the soil. They were not careful about their heart. So they just planted, and birds came and eat because they were on the roadside. They were by the wayside. So then he said, the other ones are happy, and they sow. They sowed the seed. But their heart was stony. They had faith initially. But because it was a stony ground, there was no earth, no soil for the root of the word, of the faith they have, to have you have tap root. Those days the agriculture talk about tap root and one other kind of root. So the root were not deep. They were not deep. So because they were not deep, yes, it came out. They succeed for a time as they paid their tithe, but it didn't last. Because their heart was not deep. So the devil came and talk a lot of things that shakes their faith, that affected their faith. So they didn't have faith like a mustard seed, so it dropped. They said to that group, yes, they pay their tithe, but as they pay their tithe, but their heart is stony. It's stony. It's very stony. So they don't have faith, but they pay their tithe. Their faith was not strong enough. So now they are in the midst of the church. They could be workers. They could be pastors. They could be bishops. Whoever, because even the pastors pay 1/10, he has also paid 1/10 of the tithe we received. So now he said, now the thorns will come up as a result of affliction, temptations, trials, and shock them. Because now Imagine a pastor, he just wake up and says, something is going wrong with your business. And your faith start dropping. He said, this comes up, and they're not able to withstand their faith. That's what happened to them. They say, but some that has a very good heart, so on a good soil. And this soil, if you talk about agriculture, maybe we'll talk about a loamy soil. And so it yielded out fruit, and it became strong. So those are the set of people you see in the church. 4 set of people who pays their tithe. Those one on the wayside, yes, it will grow, but it will not last. Those on the stony ground, they pay their tithe. Yes, it grows, but something shook it up. Those the thorny, and it comes with thorns, afflictions, problem, trouble, made them they derail. And see them, a serious worker in church, service start by 5. The person is coming by 5 times. Say, what happened? He said, I have a problem. They keep complaining, but it's a tither. Why do that one? It's the one that's on the good ground. So these are the 4 categories that pays their tithe. I find them in the church. And I see those that has the art of sowing sparingly, bountifully, don't complain. They keep growing.
Okay. Now when you're talking about complaining,
Yes.
I remember you said something last episode. You said that paying the tithe does not, and I repeat, you say paying the tithe, when you're committed to your tithe, doesn't necessarily mean you're a member of the church or not, but it's a rule, and everything that has a rule, as long as you don't break the rule, the result definitely work for you. Okay, I say that because you intend to talk about you coming to work church late,
Yes.
and you're paying your tithe. I just check that in for you to clear that part for us. Okay,
Yes.
so because the lady person, maybe someone that have been following the program might get a little bit confused at that point. So what do you really have to say concerning
Okay,
this
yes.
2 stuff I just
Yes,
said?
thank you. I just narrowed down because the question you asked me was, some people say, let me change church, or why? That's why I narrowed down. Now I narrowed down. Yes, I said earlier in this program that if you are a tither, it does not necessarily mean whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a pagan. The law works for you. Now, in this context now, I was talking about the 4 kinds of art. And I said the art is the soil. The art is the ground. The 4 kinds of art. And this art is what produces your results for you. That's what I mean. So whether you are in the church or not, these 4 arts is what is what works for you. Just like whether you like it or not, this is a businessman, he's selling cement. There's another store selling cement by the side. They can't sell equally. So it has to do with creativity and motivation. Creativity has to come from the heart, from the mind. Motivation also comes from the mind. So that's why I said these are the 4 kinds of arts that work on the outcome or pedigree or volume or value that adds to the result of the tithe you are paying.
Okay, now, so since talking about the tithe, that is one of the most vital part in the church that people seems not to understand with. Thank you for the little insight you're giving to us. For the past 3 weeks, you've been telling us about the importance of the tithe from various aspects. First was the importance, secondly, the past of feeding from it, and now we are looking at, despite the fact that I'm paying my tithe, I'm still going through some challenges that seems not to be compared to what I'm doing. Because why? Every Christian, according to the Bible, asks us to have expectations. So we are expecting to have expectations. So is it a crime that when I pay my tithes, I should be expecting something?
I remember years ago, someone told me I should take caution when it comes to love. I did.
It is the first of its kind in the South-South region. Oh, scratch that. Did I say South-South region? It is the first of its kind in Nigeria at large. It is the Voice of Christmas with the Boss of All Bosses Choir Award 2021. Do you think your choir has what it takes to win the Voice of Christmas Choir Award? Do you think your choir has the best soloist, the best choir director, the best songwriter, the most committed instrumentalist, or even the highest number of song composers? Then enough of the thinking. It's time for action. Nominate your choir by sending their names to 0706 488 4102 and give them a chance of winning the Voice of Christmas with the Boss of All Bosses Award. Remember, this choir stands a chance of winning 2.5 million naira. Yes, you heard right. 2.5 million naira. So start sending those names now. It is the Voice of Christmas with the Bros of All Voices Award. It is time to celebrate the choir in our church.